Hello everybody and welcome back to Borderlands 3. My name is Mikey Dubs and in today's video we are going to be refilling our Eridium stockpiles. This is also going to be the first time in this new generation of my Borderlands 3 style videos where I'm going to be bringing out my Moze, my Gunner, my Iron Bear focused build. This is going to be a Rocketeer AFK style setup where we're going to be putting Iron Bear down on the slaughter shaft and letting him do a lot of the work while we sit inside of Daka Bear. We have a Railgun Anointment EMP-45 we're going to be holding in our hands, and a Snowdrift Moxie's Endowment. This Moxie's Endowment is because I'm still trying to farm for the Bird of Prey. I need more combat XP to make that happen. So I turned on the Halloween event, and we're going to be using a Rocketeer here to kind of clear the slaughter shaft as quickly as possible. I like to put my Auto Bear right on top of this crate, jump out, so jump backwards, jump in Daka Bear, and then boom. We are officially done. We're gonna see all these enemies get pretty much evaporated by our Rocketeer setup. Now we could always, we can always participate in the fight by using our guns. And if we had something like a Guardian Angel with railgun damage on it, maybe we could use that. But the build is gonna be all 4 skill trees. So the blue tree for short fuse and fire in the Skag's Den, and for Auto Bear, which is absolutely necessary in the skill tree. The orange tree to get access to the best Iron Bear weapons, which are the railguns, shock for area effect, and corrosive for single target. The green tree to get us more Iron Bear damage and Daka Bear. And the purple tree for stuff to keep Iron Bear alive, as well as short fuse, which we're making, as well as big surplus, in order to make use of this Mayhem scaling at all times because of the Rocketeer. So we got the skulls to give us bonus XP, and we're here for 2 main reasons. First, the final boss of the final round of the slaughter shaft gives you 500 Eridium, and you can cycle it over and over and over again. Second, we want to get vault card XP, so we got the Miss Moxie's Endowment on. And as soon as our bear breaks here, we're going to be able to get it back up and place it back down where it is right now. So here we are. This is going to be how we rock our Moze out here on the slaughter shaft. It's not going to be quite as fast as farming Eridium on the Voracious Canopy, but utilizing a bunch of different elements with your melee strikes. But that is what it is. As far as anointments across the board, you don't really need that much stuff here. Look, on my Fire Old God here, nothing important. On my Fish Slap, it is nice to get while Iron Bear is active, taking damage is 20% chance to spawn a grenade. I believe we can get those. We'll be on the lookout to see if we do spawn any grenades. We're not going to be taking any damage, but Iron Bear might be, though he does have his bubble up right now. And it looks like that I have cleared this. I've cleared this many a times by putting Iron Bear up here, but sometimes enemies do end up getting a little bit out of range. That's why we have ourselves a consecutive hit soul render here. Look how hard this guy is to hit right now. Got a little bit of cover. Let's just soul render him. Boom. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Nighthawk, I swear the Nighthawk is the gun I've seen the most of any gun in the entire game. Flood. Now you can always run outside of Auto Bear. Oh wow, I got torched, huh? I don't know how I went down. And help him out on the side over here, but you don't really necessarily have to. You can just jump inside Daka Bear. But the big thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is holding that EMP-45 out. Okay. So it doesn't look like our Auto Bear will target these skulls, which is a little bit sad. But he should be able to get us a kill. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and replace our ladder right here towards the back of this. Maybe we can get a better angle on some of the laddies. But the ghosts give us a bunch of XP. You could turn on the cartel events and maybe get kind of like the same style thing going. Let's just keep destroying the badass ghosts ourselves. Yeah, our job is to take out the ghost and give us all that XP. Iron Bear's job is to destroy everybody else. Yeah, those ghosts gives us that nice chunk of XP, and we're gonna be here to get, again, the Bird of Prey is a really nice sniper rifle that I want multiple copies of because I kind of want a fadeaway active. Right now, all I have is a Gamma Burst active 115% radiation damage for my flak. I kind of want a fadeaway active 150% Bird of Prey because then you can make the Bird of Prey vertical procs also crit, which could be very interesting. Another nice thing about coming here to do your farming is that you get a lot of loot, right? In the Voracious Canopy, yeah, you get the most amount of Eridium, but you don't get any access to world drops. And I'm still, you know, I'm still checking out world drops for stuff like the Cut Purse launch pad, right? And other base game legis, so. Take a sip of our coffee. I don't think I've seen any grenades fly out. It's called the Bountiful Harvest event is what it's called. So you got the Broken Hearts, which gives you the wedding invitation. You got the Bountiful Harvest, which gives you the hearts and stuff, and therefore the wedding invitation. Then you've got the Bountiful Harvest, which gives you these skulls, and they can actually drop gas calls, I believe. Then you have the Cartels event. So those are your 3 main events. Notice how my action skill is already up. I do not have Guardian rank enabled right now, so I don't have access to the topped off, but you can see that, you know, the bear never really runs out. And he heals up so much. We got 2 different ways to heal bear up. So the first way is biofuel. So you get armor regen as long as you're igniting things, and we increase our ignite chance via explosive fury, and everything we do with Iron Bear is fire based because of big surplus. And we get more fire out of Fire in the Skags then, as well as more healing for Iron Bear from Vampire. So that grenade skill that lets Moze heal up from throwing grenades, turns out it also works for Iron Bear splash damage, which is the shock gun that he uses. The shock railgun doesn't get splash damage, but the corrosive one does. So he'll be healing himself up using the corrosive gun. But you don't have to really ever worry about Iron Bear dying with the railguns because there's no self-damage. It's another big reason why for this build I actually take Tor Cross Promotion 4 points. Because you don't have any self-splash damage with the railguns. So you actually really do want the extra splash damage. I took only 4 points. You could probably go for more, probably 5, take less points than Vampire, but... And you're seeing that like everything evaporates in front of us, so you don't really have to worry too much about, you know, what to do in this build. We're just in the turret to destroy the ghosts. Get the bonus XP from the Miss Moxie's endowment. Go. Bear gets timed out, and then he blows up. You go ahead and replace. And then just jump backwards and jump in. And we are officially in Daka Bear. And we just rinse. This is a really, really fun way to farm Eridium in the late game. That's not as intensive. There was actually if you guys remember, like there's been a lot of Borderlands events and different things, and one of the events was it was like they loot the universe, and then in different days different planets would have different types of gear, categories of gear that it was dropping en masse. So for instance, it would be Pandora's Sniper Day, and Pandora's Sniper Day would be like snipers have a higher chance to drop on Pandora maps or something like that, right? Well, there was one that was class mods on Eden 6, and there's one enemy, I think it's called the Mogwai, the Jabber Mogwai, where if you use corrosive or you let him get wet, yeah, if you use corrosive, not corrosive, if you use cryo, right, you use ice. If you use ice, it multiplies itself, and it's also like a named enemy. It's like a crew challenge, so it had decent drop loot. And what you could do was you could set up Iron Bear like this with Auto Bear, and then put on this corrosive minigun and watch the Jabber Mogwai reproduce itself, and then we were farming class mods for days. So there's a lot of different implementations for this kind of build. The Rocketeer is the necessary part of it. One big downside of the Rocketeer build is that it doesn't work if you're not the host of the lobby, from my experience. I don't think they ever fixed that bug. Where you should try to do this, if you try to jump into somebody else's game and put your Iron Bear down and do it this way, with the Rocketeer, having Iron Bear last forever, it just simply would not work. And in fact, basically what happens is the legendary effect of the Rocketeer doesn't proc at all. And instead, and this is a pretty nice one, I wish I kind of want more points in Fire in the Skags then, but the action skill cooldown and action skill damage is too nice to take off right now. Plus the melee damage from the fish slap is quite nice too. But what ends up happening if you try to go to be in somebody else's game is that you do get the auto bear 15-second duration from this skill, but you don't get the fully realized auto bear. I'm not sure. Am I getting loot from that? I'm not sure if I'm getting loot from those ghosts. I might be better off doing the cartel event. I mean, it's too late now. Because we're already on round 3. Like, you get through the round so quick. So we're on round 5 right now. Round 4. Now, something I should note is that this farm is failable. So this is not foolproof. It is failable. And it's failable if, one, you don't pay attention, and when Iron Bear gets destroyed, you jump out and you die. But it's failable if Auto Bear kills all the enemies on round 5. So Titan spawns in the very last wave of the very last round, and not right away either. You have to kill some laddies in the very last wave, and then he spawns up there somewhere. What you should do is, you should not, what you need to do is basically speedrun it. Kill Titan, grab the Eridium, and down yourself, die as quickly as possible. If Auto Bear ends up clearing the round for you, then that's bad news, Bears. So let's go ahead and turn on our spend our Guardian points. That way it stops bothering us. We will redeem our token into, let's do fight for our life duration. That's a nice stat. And turn bar back off. I think the loot might be better with Bountiful Harvest for Schluter. But the XP's gotta be better with the cartel event. Yeah, no experience from that ghost. No experience from that ghost. Just loot, which is a little bit unfortunate. So if you wanted to do this for yourself, probably cartel's event. If you're feeling a little bit weaker and you're not able to clear it because you don't have all the best gear or whatnot, then you could probably do no event. Although you're kind of hurting your XP gains and stuff like that. Okay. So as you can see, the corrosive kind of destroys any single target situation, and then the shock spreads to nearby targets and destroys them as well. So it's a really, really powerful build. I mean, I've used this build to cleanse the Guardian takedown, the Malawan takedown plenty of times. It's just a really easy build. This is the kind of build that people talk about when Moze is like super easy. Like, Moze is just as, I think, a little, not quite as difficult to get up and running as other characters, because realistically all it takes is one high-powered flipper. Consecutive hits flipper. Right? Radiation, corrosive. It's a pretty good one here. And that's it. Like, consecutive hits, anything that gives you the gun damage, then you got enough splash damage from all your other sources. So, like, it's not... And no experience. Okay, it's good to know that this event doesn't give us anything experience-wise. Cartel's event is definitely the way. Auto Bear got a little trigger happy right there. This is just an insanely strong build. Go. I could hop out and help. I mean, what I might do is when Titan spawns, I can hop out and help kill. But realistically, what I want to do is pilot Iron Bear myself and get the kill. That can be a little bit tricky on the resets because you don't know exactly what Iron Bear's cooldown is going to be each time. Usually you have to replace it at least once in the final round. There's round 4 done. Like, it's just so fast. You don't. All right. Got yourself a ×2 ogre. Vanquish your rocket pod damage. Lucian's call. Oh, I'm down. Iron Bear should be able to pick me back up, though. I just wanted to look around at some loot for a bit. Oh, loot ghost. Hazardous Hell Shock. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and jump back into Daka Bear, just to give me that safety. Very nice. Alright, kill some ghosts. So how is our event XP going? Our vault card XP going? Vault card is this one, right? No, vault card is this one. I've gotten about a little bit past halfway here. I think Cartel's event is probably the way. What we might do is, I think if I'm going to do it, it actually happens really quick. What we want to do is actually play Bloody Harvest. Let's go Revenge of the Cartels for XP. We should be getting more bosses to kill overall. So let's do it this way.
Back for more, huh, player? Well,
So it took us about 15 minutes to get that up and running. We're gonna try to see if we can get it just as fast here, except now with more juicy, badass enemies spawning for the bigger XP gains. All right, here we go. Start over. This is finding your own like farming methods and strategies is always fun. Look at that. We're already getting a cartel piece. We don't have to worry about shooting the ghosts anymore. Beautiful. Already got 2 cartel procs. Look at that. Boom. You could probably do all shock damage, like all capacitive armatures, which is the shock damage Iron Bear. I think I have done that in the past, and it's worked out just fine. But I like the corrosive, the saboteur rounds. Well, shock is probably better with both guns.
Hell yeah.
All right, here we go. Now we got the XP gains going. The Moxie's endowment for the more combat XP, or the vault cards. I'm really hoping to get on my next vault card a ×3 keys. That's the big one. Even more than diamond keys at this point, because diamond keys I've got 25. Thanks, Randy. Or 24. I spent one. So I've got 24 diamond keys that I'm not spending because Randy gave out a whole bunch at the PAX East or PAX West. So, looking good. Alrighty.
I'm on a freaking roll.
Yes, sir. Boom, big splash damage. Round 1 already done. Thanks, Moze. Yeah, Moze is... Oh, no. I sprinted into... Shoot. I wonder... I don't think it'll be a full reset, though. As you can see right here, you know, Moze is my OG. And it wasn't until, actually, 2024 where I started playing Flak. And Flak has kind of become, like... I want to say my new favorite, but I really like how Flak plays. We didn't get any... No downsides there. Our Iron Bear is still up, so... Chill. Oh, we got legendary up there. Unfortunate. Come on, calling your cartel buddies. Some damage, but again, we're so tanky with this Iron Bear setup that Iron Bear really, we're never really in any danger. There's a fish slap going out. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye out for more fish slaps. It seems like they might be going out if Iron Bear takes damage. Iron Bear's got this bubble. It's hard to tell. Doesn't take damage very often. Yeah, there's a fish slap right there. Yeah, it works. And we have melee damage in our Rocketeer class mod, so if we really wanted to be pumping out max deeps, I think maybe even like a Unleash the Dragon on this style build, because then the fish slaps that go out will be super fish slaps with Unleash the Dragon damage backing it up. And then a Guardian Angel while in Daka Bears, so that those types of damage sources can do even more. But it's tough to get a Guardian Angel with the right Railgun Anointment. I have a Guardian Angel, but it doesn't have the Railgun Anointment, so that is why I'm rocking the EMP5. Which is, I mean, is a good utility weapon in its own right. The EMP5 giving you more movement speed. Very strong utility weapon. Go fish slaps. Nice. Beautiful. Back this guy up a little bit. For fun. For funsies. There we go. Round 2 done. See, round 1, round 2, they all happen so fast with this. I'm gonna try a little bit of double lightning. So you notice how his guns don't change. He's got 1 corrosive, right, and 1 shock. So you actually have to replace Bear in order to get the change. Alright, so we're gonna go double shock. This should allow us maximum area of effect. Not that we were going slowly at all. This should, I mean, theoretically it'd be a little bit faster. Although I'm not sure. Look at that. It's just 61 mil. It's just a 61 mil into a 43 million next to you. It's just ridiculous damage. See you. Maybe if I can tap your head. There we go. Daka Bear action. I haven't really tried doing this strategy with any other Iron Bear weapons. Theoretically, it wouldn't work because of self damage, right? And also inconsistency. The railguns are the most consistent. There's no real long downtime for them. You know, they fire at 123 million. I mean, come on, brother. It's so much. Oh my goodness. Now, granted, we have a lot of different things working, but we also have a lot of things like that aren't doing much for us. Like our shield, I mean, an old god isn't really doing that much for us. A shock old god would actually be better the situation because we're not doing any fire damage. We don't really need it. Like we could be buffing up our damage even more than we currently are, which is insane to think about.
I've got a coat made out of arms.
This is how, like, just how good Iron Bear is. Like once they added Mayhem scaling to Iron Bear and like gave it just ridiculous damage, even back when DLC 3 first released, it just, like, originally it was like really fun to go do Iron Bear builds because, well, Iron Bear was so weak for so long. So the Borderlands 3 up until the first two DLCs, or up through the first two DLCs, Iron Bear wasn't that great in the Mayhem modes. Like he was okay as like a jump in, jump out style character, but he was not really used for damage. DLC 3 hits, that's the Bounty of Blood, that's like the Blood Sun Canyon and like the Wild Wild West style DLC. When that DLC dropped, they also gave Moze his Iron Bear Mayhem scaling, and so you could just, I used Iron Bear for the entire DLC, and it was so much fun, like, using all the weapons and having all the different ideas of stuff that I wanted to do and then finally able to do it. The downside was that Iron Bear became so powerful that like anyone could just roll a Moze and then just jump inside Iron Bear and do everything. Now I personally like a little bit of Rocketeer action, you know, where we have a bit of a mix-up with us and Iron Bear, but I mean, this is the game on easy mode. Is it the most fun way to do the slaughter shaft? Oh, punch my mic. No. It's a little bit, I mean, it's an AFK strat. It's a very low stress strategy. Let's see, we got a duck. Crossroads. Back in the day, that would have been insanely good. I'm on the lookout for some fun Jacob's weapons for my flak. Namely a max level, or it's a max damage monarch, or no, max damage monocle. Would be great with 150 over 90. That would be insanely good. I was on the Borderlands Reddit the other day, and someone was asking about what kind of build he should go for that mixed both action skill damage and gun damage at the same time, like kind of like a in Skyrim, a mage blade, right? Left hand fire, right hand sword. Like any sort of build that did both well, that focused on both action skills and guns, instead of all in on one or the other. And there was a few different answers, and people were saying some Zane, although it's not that great. Someone said flak, and you can do action skills and guns, and that's definitely true. Like flak, you can definitely. Oh, Vault Card level up, baby, let's go. 121. That's what I'm talking about. That's why we're here. And then the person responded, and they said, like, someone said, you can use flak for the style build. I like to run Jacob's weapons, kind of like the build that I've been doing the last few days. And the original poster responded by saying, oh, I've done that. I'm so bored of it, and I feel like I'm not really manipulating gear. And the original post was saying, is there a character that manipulates their guns and the builds in certain ways. Like they want a cool manipulation of stuff. Let's see how much damage that'll do. Is it gonna kill? I think maybe it did. And they said about the Jacobs build, the original poster said, I've done a bunch of those builds, and they don't feel like manipulation of anything. They more just feel like supercharging your Vault Hunter, and that's not as fun. And while I get that, you know, it just feels like you're supercharging your character, isn't that all we're doing in Borderlands anyway? One. And I get burning out of a build, right? I mean, I played a ton of Moze, and Moze is a character that blows everything up. And eventually, you know, running around with like a flipper, right? Which turns into 9 pellets of splash damage, like insanity. While it's fun for a long time, it can definitely lose its luster, and I totally get that. Here we are, and on round 5. Here we go. But we don't have to pay as much attention until the final wave. But anyways, I totally get, you know, a build losing its luster, but I don't feel the same way about, you know, like just getting supercharged is boring. Not only that, when he says the word supercharged, that makes me wonder, are they just rocking Revolter? Because if you watched any of my videos, I try as much as I can to get away from Revolter. I think it's really, the Revolter is fun, adds a lot of damage, adds a lot of variety, very versatile, but it's also a huge crutch. So I like to, in any way I can, anytime I can, take off the Revolter. So like if someone says to me, oh, it's boring, but it's just supercharged, you know, you're just supercharged, it makes me think that you're rocking this Revolter because like the way it's like a charging, like electrical charging effect, like literally electricity. So I would get bored just running around with Revolter. You know, that's why I wanted to go get myself an Infernal Wish for my flak, and I was having a ton of fun now that my monocle shoots 2 bullets instead of 1, and sometimes more than that. You know, getting 2 birds of prey procs with 1 bullet. It's not necessarily, I wouldn't say supercharged, I would say super buffed. Super buffed. I get calling yourself supercharged if it's Revolter, but I don't necessarily understand. Let's start tagging this laddie. I don't necessarily understand it for other style builds, so I get it. It's just, you know, it's the Reddit being the Reddit. And I mean, it is what it is. People have different opinions about different styles of builds, and I personally think that my Jacobs... Oh, I didn't have my Anointment active because I had the wrong guns out. Turns out it doesn't even matter. But for me personally, I think the sniper flak build that I've been running is like some of the most fun I've had in a long time playing Borderlands, just because of how, you know, that one shot, just one shot for these enemies instead of shooting them with a million shots, you know. Okay, so this is where the big XP is in the big gains, as far as, you know, vault card and all that stuff. Is round 5, so happy to be here, and we did it pretty quick. We built up to round 5 twice within half an hour. We might do a couple episodes here. We might not. I don't know. You know, we can kind of just, you know, chat it up a little bit about Borderlands and, you know, things we're thinking. And I'm happy to be back in the Borderlands train. You know, it's a game that I've played a ton. I think it's my most played Borderlands game. And there's just so much to do. You know, you realize when you're making these hour-long videos that, like, just how much there is to do, and how long it takes to do it. Like, if you're trying to god roll farm, an hour goes by like that. And I want to mix it up and do these different farms, but some of these farms take some time to set up. Specifically, Slaughter Shaft. Joey Ultraviolet fight, stuff like that. So it's all time consuming. You might get 1 or 2 runs, and then you start realizing, you know, getting good gear in this game is fairly time consuming. All right, where's the enemy that I can't see? A lot of times when this happens, they'll just spawn in the very back. Let's hop out and see if we can find somebody with our Soul Render or Flipper or whatever. Maybe Free Radical. We've got a lot of good guns in our Moze. Right, the Slaughter Shaft is known to bug out sometimes. enemies that don't spawn, enemies that get trapped in the walls and never spawn in. What is this up here? Lightning Magnificent. So we might have to, unfortunately, down ourselves and restart this if it doesn't want to fix itself. So let's just try it. Let's just down ourselves, and then we will get a reset on. I mean, we're still gonna get the XP, but we're getting. It's a little bit slow in the Eridium gains right now. I haven't gained any Eridium, and that's what I'm really here for. I want that Eridium. 500 per pop, but we still have not gotten a single farm because the slaughter shaft can bug out.
Can't keep an Ursa down.
Hey, what in the world? Where were you guys? Seriously, where were you guys like a second ago? Excuse me. Oh, I want to take one shot at those guys just to teach them a lesson. Oh, I don't have my gun out here. Let me hop out real quick. Get to my railgun anointed gun, and then we're good to go. All right, let's start round 5 again. Hopefully it doesn't bug out. How much vault card XP do we have already? I mean, we're already about, like, you know, 10% of the way there. If we can get a few vault card levels here, that'd be really, really nice. Beautiful. So we have Borderlands 4 coming out in September, and it's May right now. It should be early June when this video comes out, maybe June 4th or June 5th. And so that means June, July, August, and then we have September. So we've got 3 months or so. So I've got plenty of videos I can make. And I got offered a job. I applied for a real world job out of school. I haven't quite graduated with my degree yet, but I got offered a job. So I'm going to be starting that in July. We have all of this month to really focus on making content. Which should be fun, and it should give us a lot of videos of Borderlands 3, which I mean it's a really fun game. You know, this part of it, as much as it's not as fun as like running around with a sniper in the slaughter shaft, it's a little bit slower paced, it's more relaxing, and it still hits that hyper efficiency tick. It checks that hyper efficiency box in my brain where this is going to be an optimal farm for both XP and Eridium, not just one or the other. So if I really want both XP and Eridium, I think this is the way to do it. If you just want Eridium, it's Voracious Canopy with someone probably like a Mara or even Moze with big surplus, maybe. I'm not too sure if Zane is as efficient or Flak, because you can only get 4 elements. Maybe 5. Anyways. Looking good here. We've completed wave 3. Once we get done with this wave, we're gonna have to start paying pretty close attention to what we're doing. And I'm gonna replace Iron Bear once here, so hopefully it'll be available for Titan, where I can hop out and just focus on blasting Titan when it's over. There we go. Wave 4 out of 5. So now this is gonna be the final wave right here. But what we do is, here comes the gunship. We kill a couple of these badasses, and then we're just staring up at this cliffside. Once Titan spawns, we run over there. Okay, I believe you can also spawn back in that house. There he is. Okay, so hop out. Climb the ladder. And kill Titan. Okay, now we gather that Eridium, and we hold to give up. And right now, Iron Bear might finish the round. So Hopefully it doesn't completely finish the round, and then we get to reset it. We should be 500 Eridium richer. So I started at like 300 something Eridium. I believe I'll have something like 800 now. Yep, boom. There's our first 500. Beautiful. Now we can officially start the farm for real. Okay. We played it a little bit close to the chest there, but I think if we start doing this properly... Oops. You can't jump up here. Yep, there we go. Smash you. Oh, we got put down, but getting back up shouldn't be a problem. Here we go. Let's jump out and get our EMP 45 going. And then we're just watching those waves again. So 500 Eridium in, and we're getting that nice juicy Eridium. We might be here for a couple videos anyway. So we have until September 12th when Borderlands 4 comes out. And I think what my plan is to do a slower style playthrough where when I come across the mini boss, I stay at that mini boss or named enemy. I stay at that named enemy for a decent amount of time farming up, trying to see what their dedicated drop is, and using a lot of the guns. Let me destroy this bad boy. Just hover there. Anyways, using a lot of the guns that drop to get a good feel for them, and then that way I can have those guns in my mind, in the back of my mind, when I'm making builds. Right? A lot of what making builds comes down to is having knowledge of your available options. If I slow it down and spend a good amount of time with all the different guns and learn them instead of just being like good, bad, good, good, bad, 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 good, because I watch tier lists online, I'm really robbing myself of an experience. And if I do it my own way, then I can have all my own builds and just have a lot of fun with it. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing is no online, maybe later on, but building characters that can beat the end game. I don't think you need to be, Stephen Hawking to get the job done. I think that for this game at least, it's just make sure you have the right anointments on your gear and then send it. Especially nowadays. Now that being said, the Guardian takedown is still like ridiculous. Like to beat it on flak, I feel like it would take. I mean, we could definitely do it, but it would have to be pretty try hard. The hardest content is still requires some try harding, I believe. But to make a competent build, I don't think is that difficult. And it shouldn't be difficult in the new game. All right, so we're gonna put down our next bear. Jump in. Go. Now there is a thing that can happen up here where bear gets knocked off and falls back down. When that happens, you kind of have to like reset. Try to get your iron bear back by running around killing stuff. But I'm not spec'd into any cooldown right now. Besides my class mod, that's the only bit of cooldown that I have. Alright, lads. So now we're just keeping an eye out for Titan up top. He spawns in after you defeated some of the badasses, so. Here we go. There's Titan right there. Go to my free radical. Hopefully that grenade doesn't put me down. Here we go. But that's a daddy Goliath. There's Titan. We'll get our Eridium and then throw a grenade at our feet and die. Okay, here we go. So that should put us up to 1,300 or so Eridium. We're gonna do a quick check, and then after this check, we should be good to go for a while. We got 1,300 Eridium, but as you just noticed, it's failable, right? Notice how Iron Bear just failed, just ended the round for us.
For now, here's your prize money.
So you got to be careful with this Iron Bear strat. I think what could be a good strategy is to put on a shield that gives you Iron Bear cooldown. So like a plus ultra with Iron Bear cooldown might be what we need to make this actually work. So we're gonna stay here and build back up to the very tippity top again. But this time, use more Iron Bear cooldown so that we can enter into Iron Bear when Titan spawns. It's an unfortunate thing that just happened, but that's the weakness of this strategy, is that unfortunately Auto Bear a lot of times ends the round if you're not quick enough. So again, it's an AFK strat. It doesn't take that long to build it back up. So okay, let's just make sure that we have our MP45 out. There we go. We're chilling. All right, so we've discussed the build, we've discussed the strats, we discussed the plan afterward with the Eridium. I think what we could discuss now a little bit is, and this is for the people that made it into the end of the video, again, maybe kind of a little bit of an interesting discussion, is what's been happening on Twitter with Randy Pitchford. When this video goes live, it's going to be a little bit over a week old, but you know what? I don't mind discussing it. And that's Randy, as the CEO of Gearbox, has been on Twitter saying lots of stuff. Very like Elon Musk-esque, where, you know, he's a big personality. He's a tech company CEO who has a community on Twitter. So these are the people that he finds common ground with. Like, this is his social circle, is Twitter. So, you know, Twitter matters a lot to him, and I understand that. As someone who, a lot of my friends are online, I sometimes read Twitter. I think I re-downloaded Twitter maybe about a year or so ago for YouTube, but like, it's one of the apps that I go to, right? It's like, when I'm scrolling on my phone, when I'm bored, it's like Reddit, it's X, it's Twitter, some Facebook, YouTube Studio, that kind of stuff. These are the apps that I tap. So I mean, I'm on there. I'm not gonna bash someone for being on Twitter, but he's been saying a lot of stuff, okay? And the big one that kind of got him in trouble, as a lot of you guys probably already know, was in regards to the price of Borderlands 4, how there's going to be potentially a price increase from the $60 video game that we're accustomed to seeing from AAA studios to the $80 video game. And this comes after some companies actually increased their prices to $70 for their games. It's like, we're seeing price increases across the board. So the question basically came up where, you know, is Borderlands 4 going to be $80? And Randy basically said, and this is the part of it that got everyone upset, was a real, if it indeed does cost $80, real fans will make it happen. Real fans will make it happen. And it's kind of interesting. It's really interesting that he would say that. From a marketing perspective, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to say, because what you're doing is you're alienating potential buyers, and you're, on top of that, you're giving your actual, like, long-time fans a reason not to buy the game. Like, I'm someone who's most likely going to buy the game, unless something crazy happens. I'm going to be purchasing the game and playing it, right? Real fans will make it happen. But why risk alienating so many people with like tone deaf comments? Real fans will make it happen. It's not only is he like invoking the no true Scotsman logical fallacy, which is like, you know, I'm right about the price increase because you're not a real fan unless you buy it. You know, it also is like there are so many other ways to say $80 is fair. Like, I think that's Randy's real point here is $80 is a fair price. And we can have, I think, an interesting discussion about whether $80 is fair that doesn't involve insulting the player base. Right? I think being upset about an $80 price tag is fair, and I also think that pricing a game of Borderlands' size and potential $80 is fair. Like, I think both sides are fair here. What I think is not fair is being like, real fans will find a way to make it happen. It's like, well, a big part of marketing is trying to expand your base, right? Trying to get more people underneath your umbrella. Get more people who are looking for a fun game to play Borderlands. And the negative publicity, all people want to do now is not buy the game. They just don't want to buy it. So, I mean, I know that Borderlands 3 will be a success, or Borderlands 4 will be a success, because Borderlands 3 was a success. And with the amount of time in between games and how much people still play these games, and how good they really are, I don't have any fears for Borderlands 4 as far as success. But I think Randy owes it to himself to not call out the player base and kind of, in a really bad marketing move, dramatically decrease sales. Now that's me, someone who's not, you know, directly in the industry, saying that you could decrease sales, but I think I can theorize about this well enough to think calling everybody out who's upset about the $80 price point, saying that they're not fans of the series, isn't really a smart move. I think that we can get, I think, whoa, at least agree on that. I'm trying to reset the arena, friend. Can you get out of here? Thank you.
It's okay. I know you're gonna fucking kill it this time.
Okay. Jump in. Although I do, although when I talked about this with my wife, I brought up like the whole situation with my wife, and she actually agreed with Randy. She was like, "Yeah, $80. Like, I don't understand. Like, you know, you just save that up. If you were a kid, you work and you save that up. You know, the game comes out once every how many years? Like, why aren't you just being smart about it and saving up for it?" And you know, that was her gut reaction, and that was the one she stuck with, and that's a really good perspective to have, I think. You know, just know what you're spending your money on. I have played free games for so long now. I played cheap games for so long now. A lot of my friends, what they like to do is they like to go searching for new games every week, whether it be expensive or inexpensive titles. They are trying to get a new experience from a new game all the time. And if you're a player like that who likes to, you know, dabble in new games a lot, I totally get, like, why is $80? That's not worth it. But if you're someone like me who I play Borderlands, okay, that's like the one. Borderlands is the one AAA game. I don't buy sports games. I don't buy Call of Duty. I don't buy any of these games. The one big AAA game that I buy is Borderlands, right? I don't spend my money on gaming. Like, I play free games. I play League of Legends, you know? So, like, my friends are like, "Oh, hey, what game do you want to play?" And I'm like, "Do you want to play a League?" Like, it's the same game as it has been the last 10 years, but it's still the same free game. So I totally get the perspective of just save, brother. Like, what's so hard about saving? But I also get the perspective of I'm trying to save, but I don't have money to save because everything is so expensive now. It's like it's so back and forth. I guess what I'm trying to get at overall, and I guess what I'm landing here is, was it smart for Randy to say what he said? No. However, it really only affects him. Like, he's the only one that really takes a hit here. I mean, no, there's indirect effects for everyone. Let's just think about this for a second. Who is it really affecting when he says these things? Because all the members of Gearbox, right? They're salaried. Like, they are on salaries. So, what should I place another Iron Bear here? They're on salary. Are they going to be getting massive bonuses if the game oversells? They could, but a lot of that excess money goes to the CEOs of companies, the people at the very top, the highest, the biggest decision makers who take the most who have the most responsibility, who take the most risk, are the people who get all of the excess money, and they can buy mansions with it, and they can do stuff with it. They can reinvest. They can make movies, stuff like that, right? So we're already kind of under the assumption that Borderlands 4 will be a success, at least enough of a success to pay the people who made it, right? Pay the people who made it. After that, the only people that it's really, really affecting long-term are the people at the very top. I think 2K, who's ever at the very top of 2K, who's at the very top of Gearbox, who's Randy, they're the people that are getting the most affected. So if he's really only affecting himself financially and nobody else, then who cares? Like you know, he knows what he's doing. You know, what I think he's trying to do is he's trying to stand on principle. He's trying to make a point, and this is where the next part of this Twitter conversation comes into play here is there was massive backlash, even an Asmongold video about the Borderlands $80 real fans will find a way, right? Big Twitter sphere backlash. Randy then made a tweet about the caption of the tweet was, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen," or "the coolest thing I've seen today, blah blah blah." Oh, vault card level up, let's go. And the tweet was of a generative AI, or it was like an AI art video where there's a bunch of human beings that are like moving in and out of each other, creating these cool like objects like based off nature. It was a really cool like AI type video. But because of the tech industry's kind of battle with AI, how like people who have practiced coding and learning how to code and stuff are getting replaced by AI that knows how to code better and faster. There's an anti-AI community in the game developing space. So Jolt's dude, who's typically like the voice of reason, the voice of joy, in the community was like, Randy, what in the world? Like, you can't be tweeting this stuff. You can't be pro AI as a game developer, as a lead game developer. And then I think the follow up that Randy gave to Jolt's dude really kind of tells where his head is at, where Randy's head is at. And his head is not 100% on the marketing of the optimal marketing of Borderlands 4. I think 2K's got that taken care of. They're going to be the ones doing all the I think what Randy's doing is he is using Twitter as a personal, social outlet. He is participating in the online community on Twitter, not really as a marketing manager for the game. Oh, there's Titan right there. So what we want to do is jump out, jump into Iron Bear using our excess cooldown. Okay, now Titan's dead. Let's go get that loot while remaining in Iron Bear. Oh, Bear Trooper right there. With action skill damage, grenade damage, weapon damage. Holy cow, it's actually kind of insane. So we got our Eridium. So now what we want to do is what you can do is you can take off the Rocketeer, but I don't think that would really help. What I like to do is, I'm really nervous about putting Iron Bear down over here. Put Iron Bear down in the corner so it can't kill anything. Grenade the ground. Kill yourself. And just pray that Iron Bear doesn't finish the round. If he does, well, then rip. Okay, let's see that screen fail. There we go. Put Iron Bear in the corner. That's the real strategy. So we're at 54 minutes. Maybe we can get another run done. Hit this. a Maggie with not quite the highest damage. All right, so we don't have Bear quite ready. Let's go to a free radical. And we have big surplus because Bear is cooling down. So let's do that. Big surplus giving us a ridiculous amount of fire damage. Mix that with short fuse, and all of a sudden we have a really, really powerful build. All right, Bear. Come on up now. Okay, jump in, Bear. Nice. So I think what Randy's doing is he's trying to make a point. And his follow-up tweet to Joltstude was, this platform is wild. People overreact about everything. But to me, it's like, where have you been, Randy? Like, that's what Twitter is. Someone says something, and everyone else makes value assessments of that person based on what they said. Everyone else, they take that, and they say, like, that's the way Twitter has been forever. Like, it's always been that way. It's never not, and from what, maybe in the very early days, but ever since it got big, I mean, that's, if we're talking politically, that's what people have been complaining about politically forever. How there is certain political ideologies that are not acceptable to the Twitter sphere, and if you show any of them, then you get canceled. It extends beyond politics. AI. If your people in your Twitter bubble, and honestly across the entire Twitter bubble, because it's very tech dominated, especially now with Elon Musk owning it, if you say something, you're gonna get throttled online for it. No one's afraid to say anything because they have a physical barrier. Like, you're in Arkansas and they're in Djibouti. Anyways, Twitter's always been that way. But Randy is trying to point out that, like, it's over the top. This is not how society is supposed to work. And you know what? It's not how society works. Society in real life, when you have confidence and say something, yeah, you're going to make enemies, but you also have people around you that respect what you do, and there's like body language indicators that people respect what you're saying. Like, we have just a few minutes before the end of this video, so we'll finish out this wave and then we'll be done. But a lot of times when people say something controversial online, right, they don't get the backup, right? They get attacked, but they don't get the backup, because people that agree with them, you know, the silent majority in a lot of controversial issues, the silent majority who usually in a room where people say controversial things, the silent majority that holds their judgment and they have a physical presence, and everyone can tell that they're being silent, and therefore the group has not really decided what they deem is acceptable and whatnot. Let's just stay inside of Bear for a while and go tighten this way. The group has not decided what they think about, you know, what was said. And so there's this aura of indecisiveness, or like we don't exactly know what they think. Where's Titan at? Is he up there? And so people are careful about what they say for either side because they're withholding their judgment. Online, it's an entirely different ballgame. People are not afraid to come out against you, and a lot of times the people that are for you are scared to say anything. In person, they're all around, and their presence creates a barrier for anyone who has, you know, controversial opinions one way or the other to withhold that, you know, that raving judgment of like, you're the worst person I've ever met in my entire life. Like, that's not really a modest take, you know, and people in real life don't act that way. So Randy, you're right. The platform is wild, right? Twitter is wild, but it's been that way for a long time. It is not real life. In real life, things are way different. Communication, body language, how people act in a public area when someone's virtue is coming into question. People don't want to make value judgments because it's so easy to say right back to them, well, why not you do this? Why not you do that? You know, you're looking right at somebody. Someone might be overweight. Someone like me who's underweight, who like doesn't work out enough. It's like, who are you to tell me? Look at me. You know, my biceps are quite literally 3 times the size of yours. Okay, like not saying mine are yours, but like someone else to me, it's like so they're thinking about me. You're not disciplined. You can't tell me what to do. But over the internet, everyone can cast value assessment. So it's Randy's right, gamers are right, everyone's right. Okay, and we're just kind of like against each other for what. Wow, that's a ×7 Atlas URAD Ruby's Wrath. That's kind of interesting. So like, I wanted to talk about that just a little bit, just to kind of, you know, I might start by talking about that in the next episode, but we have to get to the next episode. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe to see more videos like this one. In the next episode, we're probably going to stay here and continue our train of farming Eridium, farming Vault Card XP. We got 2 Vault Card levels, love that. A lot of Eridium as well. I mean, we kind of figured out a little bit of a better system now, but 2,387, it's not the 15,000 that we got the last time, but we should be a little bit more efficient. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.